Meet the employer. Inclusive careers with Channel 4. Who is Channel 4?
Thank you, and hello everybody, and welcome to the introduction for Channel 4. So my name is Jamie Ward, and just by way of introduction, my pronouns are he, him. I'm white, bold, I'd love to say devilishly handsome. I'm wearing a black polo neck, and I'm blind or severely sight impaired, which is the correct terminology. I'm head of learning development, and I've been here about 3 years, and I would love to tell you a few things about Channel 4 today before I hand on to my colleagues who will tell you more about recruitment and what it's like working at Channel 4. So we're an organisation of just over 1,000 employees. We've been in existence for about 40 years. We are what's known as a publisher broadcaster, which means that we don't own any production facilities. We don't own very much in the way of IP, intellectual property, but we were set up to bring in advertising revenue and spend money on programs in the independent production sector. So although we only have, as I say, around 1,000 employees, we actually support around 50,000 jobs in the independent TV production sector, largely out in the regions in the UK. So we're an extremely important engine for the UK TV and film sector, because I'm sure all of you will have heard of Film 4, which is part of Channel 4 as well. Disability is an extremely important focus for Channel 4 and has been throughout our 40-year history, but is becoming more so. We are the nation's Paralympics broadcaster, and you'll know that we support key disabled talents on screen, such as Rosie Jones, Sophie Morgan, Adam Hills, Charlie Brooker, and you'll see our content featuring disabled talent on our screens regularly. As I say, we broadcast the Paralympics. This is a Paralympics year, 2024. We also have key storylines featuring disabled talent in Hollyoaks, obviously Gogglebox, and Bake Off, to name but a few. But it's not just about content, it's about the organisation that puts all that content on air. We are, as I say, an organisation which puts a lot of focus on our disabled employees. We're very proud of the fact that the makeup of disabled employees is the highest, according to our regulator, is the highest amongst our broadcast competitors at 15%. So we've beaten our own targets. We're also beating all our competition. So what can you expect to see? Well, we've just launched a new equity and inclusion strategy with a focus on accessibility. We have an organisation called TAG internally, which Giles has set up. You'll be hearing from Giles in a moment. This is the adjustment group, which focuses on making the adjustments, workplace adjustments and accessibility easier for our disabled colleagues, particularly if you're joining the organisation, getting all those things set up and in place to make it possible for you to hit the ground running. We also have a Full Purple network, so this is our internal employee network, and we are going to be hearing from my Full Purple co-chair in a moment, so plenty going on, and I think that's probably a good whistle stop tour to Channel 4.
What is the recruitment process at Channel 4?
So I am Davina, and as a way of introduction, my pronouns are her, she. I am a South Asian female with black hair. I'm wearing glasses, a black cardigan and a green top. So as you can see on this slide, it's my job title. So I am a talent partner here at Channel 4, and I look after the recruitment for all our creative and commercial roles within the channel. So to begin with, what I wanted to do was share just a bit of information and a couple of slides, and just to show you all how we would typically recruit a role within the channel. So for my first slide, I've got a slide that's got applying for roles, and on this slide, it's got a list of the logos of the job boards that we use, and also there's some screen shots of our social media. So what I would like to share is when you are sort of submitting an application for all our roles, we do our best to advertise our roles as many places as possible. So as you can see on this slide, you'll see the list of job boards. So they are Indeed, Evenbreak, Broadcast, Glassdoor, Creative Access, Profilic North, LinkedIn, and then of course the Channel 4 career site. What we also like to do is try to utilise the power of social media. And what is listed on this slide is the different social media accounts that we have at Channel 4, especially around our careers. So here you'll see we have our Instagram account, we have a LinkedIn account, we have an X account, which is formerly Twitter. We also have YouTube, we have Meta, and although we've not quite yet got our own TikTok account, we do collaborate with a lot of TikTok contributors who have kindly advertised and push our roles out on TikTok too. So if you do a search of Channel 4 jobs on TikTok, hopefully you'll be able to see more content. The next slide, please. Thank you. So for my second slide, on the screen, we have what we call our candidate journey. So there are 5 boxes, and in those boxes outline the different stages that we would have in our recruitment process, that if you were applying for a role, this is what you would be going through. So for the first 2 stages is what we call our application stage. So in here, there are 2 ways people can submit their application. So the first one is when people apply via our career site or via an external job board. So when you are applying, what we do ask for is to people to upload their CVs. And then we do have some application questions, which we highly encourage, if you can, to write or to do an audio on why you feel that you are the right fit for this role, and how your experience fits the essential skills and experience that's outlined on the job description. We do have a second way of people applying for roles, and that is where somebody is approached by a member of our talent team, that's often via social media, asking if they would be interested in applying for a role. We sort of take this second approach if the roles that we're recruiting for have a very niche skill set, or they're what we're called the hard to fill roles. So for the next stage of our recruitment process, which is in the second box, is people, once you've submitted your application, you may be invited to a self-record video interview via HireView. So HireView is an interviewing technology platform. And here is a self-record interview is where you can answer a set of interview questions, which will be recorded on video. So what we would then do is, once you've completed that interview, the hiring team will review and watch all the interviews, and then we will provide feedback. We do also understand that recording your responses might not be too familiar, or people may not be too comfortable for this. We do provide retries so that there is an opportunity for people to prepare. But however, we can change this format and this particular stage, especially if the platform is not accessible to you. Then the next stage, which is in box 4, is where we'll invite people for a live interview with the hiring team. So this interview can happen as a video interview or an in-person interview at the Channel 4 offices. And what we would tend to do here is just ask some interview questions, really around your experience and how you would approach that particular role that you are interviewing for. And then finally in box 5, and this is the final stage for people throughout the recruitment process, is once all interview stages are completed, and we do try to aim to complete all our interviews in 2 stages where we can. The hiring team will review all of the interviews and feedback. Once the feedback is reviewed, the role will be offered to the successful person, but we do aim to provide feedback and specific feedback to your interview to anyone who has applied or completed a recruitment process at Channel 4. One thing that we do here at Channel 4 is we do ask people if they require any reasonable adjustments at every single interview stage. And then we also have all of our contact details across our career site and our job description if anybody feels like they want to get in touch with us to discuss this in more detail. Next slide, please. So now I just wanted to share some information on what an interview would look like at Channel 4. So on my slide, I've got sort of 4 boxes, and in each of those boxes has a bit of an outline on what the interview will look like. So in the first box, what we try to do is that we use the first 5 minutes of any interview where interviewers will introduce themselves. They will also let people know what to expect for the next 45 to 60 minutes of your interview. And then, of course, we do allow time for any technical difficulties and just to get them resolved before we actually start the big bulk of the interview. Then you have the second box, and in the second box is interview questions / task. And this normally lasts around 50 minutes. And this is a bulk of the interview where we're assessing the skills for the role. So this could be done via interview questions. So these are role-specific questions to better understand your experience that you could bring to the role. However, for a lot of our creative roles, we may ask people to complete a task prior to their interview or share their findings in the interview as a presentation, for example. Do know that we do provide people with plenty of information on what their interview will be looking like, especially if they're completing a task, and then we will allow plenty of time for people to prepare and complete those tasks. And then we do, on the third box, I've got questions from candidates. So we do allow 5 to 10 minutes where we always leave questions for people that you may have. Don't feel pressured to ask any questions, as we do appreciate interviewing comes with its own stresses. However, feel free to ask any questions on the future of the channel, more on the role itself, and you can even ask what next steps are too. And then on the final box, it's sign off and setting expectations. So your interviewers and the hiring team will let you know what to expect when hearing a response on your interview and the details of those next steps too. And then sort of the final slide from me, and on this particular slide, I've got 5 boxes. It's our interview adjustments, and these are just some examples of some interview adjustments that we can do, and I will go through those now. So as I previously mentioned, we do ask if anyone requires reasonable adjustments at any stage of their recruitment process, and that includes from the application stage and reading the job description. This is definitely not a full list or an exhausted list, but here are the 5 adjustments that we can, and actually we have provided very recently for people who have asked for adjustments in their interviews. So the first box is adaptation to the structure of the day. So here we've been able to provide more time to answer questions or to complete the task. And we can also provide breaks within the interview if needed or requested. In the second box, we've got addition of a tool or service. So this may be a use of text-to-speech technology, access to a sign language interpreter, and of course, the use of different types of technology, whether it's Teams via Zoom. The third box, we've got adaptations to the format of the meeting. So with that, again, it could be the type of platform that we're using, but it also might be, let's move the interview from a virtual interview, moving it to more of a face-to-face interview. Box number 4, disclosing aspect of the candidate's disability to the interviewer in advance. So people may disclose their disability and ask us to share that with the interviewing panel. And an example that we may have is that please be aware this person may not maintain eye contact during the interview. And then another recent justification was specification with regards to the physical environment. So we will look for a wheelchair accessible room if that is requested. As I mentioned, these are examples of recent adjustments we've provided. However, we will have conversations with people prior to them interviewing around what accommodations work best for them.
Early careers for disabled candidates at Channel 4.
Hi everyone, and thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Yasmin. I use the pronoun she, her, and I am a Caucasian female with long brown curly hair and glasses, and I'm wearing a white and red jumper. So I, alongside my colleague Laurie, who's going to come in a little bit later on, we're going to talk to you a bit about early careers at Channel 4. So I'm just moving on to the next slide, and the next slide says 4 skills schemes. And then I list out apprenticeships, virtual work experience, and the production training schemes. So we will talk through all of those different schemes. But really quickly, so you know who 4 Skills are, we're sort of the area at Channel 4 that looks after the entry-level programmes and opportunities for people that are looking to get into the TV industry. So our schemes are mainly aimed at people with no prior experience or with very, very little experience and sort of background in TV already. So I'm just going to move on to the next slide. So now I'm going to talk about apprenticeships. So here I've got a slide with some text, which I'm going to talk through now, and an image from one of our TV shows called Big Boys. If you haven't watched it, it's great, definitely recommend. So just for those of you that don't know much about apprenticeships, apprenticeships are a great opportunity to get hands-on experience, real life experience, all whilst also getting a qualification at the same time, which is great. The qualifications that apprenticeships sort of range in are levels 2, which is equivalent to a GCSE, all the way to level 6 and 7, which is sort of degree and master's level. So there's a real range of apprenticeships that are offered everywhere, or sort of lots of organisations offer apprenticeships. And then the length of the apprenticeship is also impacted by the level that it is. So basically, a lower level apprenticeship, which is maybe a level 2 or 3, will range from around 15 to 18 months, and a higher level apprenticeship may be 2 to 3 years. It's really dependent on the qualification that's being offered. At Channel 4, we have opportunities in a number of departments. So this includes finance, HR, marketing. We have opportunities in an area called 4 Studio, and they are based in Leeds, and they make all of our exciting social content. If any of you watch Channel 4.0, they do all of that fun stuff, and digital marketing. So we have lots of different apprenticeship opportunities in lots of different departments. Our apprenticeships are aimed at non-degree holders. This is just because of the level of apprenticeship we offer. At the moment, we've got applications open for levels 2 and 3, which are equivalent to GCSEs and A-levels, and you need no experience, which is something I mentioned before, but it's really key. With our apprenticeships, we don't expect you to be an expert in any particular field. We don't expect you to have heaps and heaps of work experience. All we're looking for is potential, passion, and sort of real want and interest to work for Channel 4 and the department that you're interested in. I did mention briefly, but we do have applications open at the moment, which is really exciting. And these are just for levels 2 and 3 apprenticeships we've got around 34 roles available actually. So if you visit the Channel 4 jobs website now, you can see them all. We'll pop a link in the chat. I'll do that after I've spoken, so you've got the link, but I've also popped it on the slides, but it's careers.channel4.com/4skills. And then if you go to the apprenticeships page, you can see all of those opportunities. So now just to really quickly talk about the application process. And now I've got a slide up with an image from Derry Girls, which is another great show from Channel 4. And then just to quickly discuss exactly what the application process is for our apprenticeship programme. So we do, similarly to what sort of Davina spoke for actually the process. So we've got an application form and we ask you to submit answers to questions. For us, it's so important you answer those questions, otherwise your application won't be considered. So again, we have them, obviously you can submit it in a written format. If there's another format that's sort of suitable for you, we're really happy to have those discussions. So we've got an email address at the bottom as well, and also on our website, which is apprenticeships@channel4.co.uk. If you wanted to discuss sort of alternative application methods, we're really happy to. And then after that initial stage, we then do an on-demand video interview. So exactly what Davina went through previously around hire view. So we set some questions and then you answer them in your own time. Again, really happy to discuss adjustments at that point. We can give people sort of more time to ask questions. We can do live video instead. So there definitely are options if that isn't the best method for you. And then the final stage of the apprenticeships are we ask you to do an in-person interview / task. So it's more a task actually rather than an interview. Because we understand that at an apprenticeship level, you know, we're really looking for that passion and interest. So we want that to be demonstrated in a task related to the role. So we'll send that to you in advance so that you've got time to prepare for it. And then we'd invite you in to then meet with the hiring team and also someone for the early careers teams. That could be me, Laurie, my colleague. So it's hopefully quite a nice process, and we're definitely here along the way to answer all your questions. So definitely let us know if you have any. And then just moving on the last slide from me, so I'm going to quickly talk to you about one of our other schemes called the Production Training Scheme. We've got an image on the right from another Channel 4 programme with ZZ Mills and Rosie Jones in it, which is great. So just really quickly talk to you about the Production Training Scheme, as I mentioned. So this is quite a big scheme that 4 Skills run. Actually, our team in Leeds run this scheme. So it's perfect if you're passionate about unscripted TV and want to be involved in actually making television programmes. So our apprenticeships, just to compare, our apprenticeships are mainly in roles within Channel 4 at departments, you know, operational roles. We do have some creative roles, but it's, you know, it's marketing, those sort of in-office roles. But actually the Production Training Scheme is perfect for you if you want to make TV programmes, you want to be involved in that real creative process. If you were successful, you'd work with an independent production company for 12 months, obviously get paid, as well as take part in monthly training at Channel 4 offices from industry experts. It's open to those with less than 3 months experience already in TV. So if you've done a little bit of it, like a few, you know, work experience opportunities in TV, that's absolutely fine. You can still apply for it. We have opportunities available across the UK, so it's very much dependent on the sort of scheme and when it opens, but they'll put the locations when the applications are open. They are opening in March, so very soon, and you can find out more on the Channel 4 website as well, which I've linked, and we're going to talk about sort of where you can follow us as well. And something I didn't mention on the previous slide, so sorry, about the apprenticeship programme, is the locations that it's available in. So we have roles available in London, Leeds, Manchester, Bristol and Glasgow. So we do have opportunities available across the UK, and we do also support with relocation. So Abigail, who's going to speak to you later, actually relocated for her apprenticeship, so that is something we can support with as well. But any questions, you can definitely drop us an email or pop them in the chat. But now I'm going to pass over to my colleague Laurie to talk about work experience.
Virtual work experience for disabled candidates at Channel 4.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Yasmin, and hi everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Laurie. I work in the early careers team alongside Yasmin, and by way of introduction, I'm a 30-year-old Caucasian woman with brown hair, blue eyes, and I'm wearing an orange top. My pronouns are she, her. So the title of this slide says virtual work experience, and I'll read out each bullet point seen on the slides, but also expand on them verbally a little bit. So the Channel 4 Work Experience Programme is now into its 2nd year. It's completely free for participants. It's self-paced, and anyone over the age of 14 can do it. And we have no upper age limit. So yeah, sky's the limit for anyone who would like to do it. And it can be done at any point during the year. It equates to around 2.5 days of work experience if done in one sitting. So the idea of the work experience program that we offer is to allow you to gain insight into various departments we have at Channel 4 from the comfort of your own home. So no matter where you are, it's completely accessible, and it's really meaningful work experience as well. We appreciate that not everyone can take the time out of education, work, caring responsibilities, or it just might not be that practical to come and travel to an office. So this is really a way of providing an insight into Channel 4 and the media to those looking for it for whatever reason that might be, whether you're at school, whether you're interested in media, whether you're looking to bolster your CV, like I said, from the comfort of your own home and in your own time as well. So the program begins with 3 core modules that every person signing up to the program has to complete. And these are really designed to provide a solid foundation in the essentials. So these modules are what is the creative industry? That's 1. Creative personas, that's the 2nd. And employability, that's the 3rd. And then following on from these initial modules, participants will have the opportunity to engage in pick and mix selection of modules based on the areas of media you might be interested in. So these modules were set by various Channel 4 teams. So one was set by our sales team, one by consumer insight, one by commissioning, legal and compliance, 4 studio, our continuity team, and also one by an external independent production company that we partner with, which is all about production, because we appreciate a lot of you might want to be runners on sets or work behind the scenes with cameras and equipment. So we've added that in this year as we didn't have it last year. Like I said, it's completely virtual. So you'll do this from the comfort of your own home. You can do it on a phone, a tablet, a laptop, whatever works best. And you will receive a certificate after you complete each module, which you can add to your LinkedIn page if you have one, or just keep for yourselves as a bit of a documentation. If you complete the programs, those 3 core modules, you'll then be invited to attend a virtual panel event, very similar to this one, with Channel 4 employees who can tell you more about their jobs, and they can answer any burning questions that you might have. So they're great opportunities to find out a little bit more and meet actual Channel 4 employees just like today. So I really encourage you to look at our website. I'll pop it in the chat, as this program really is a great addition to your CV and can provide really meaningful work experience in the space of media. So I think that is it from me. I'm now handing over to Giles, if I'm not mistaken.
That's great.
Oh,
Thanks very
apologies.
much.
We do have, sorry, Giles, we do have one more slide,
Okay.
which I forgot about. So also, if you'd like to learn more about our early careers opportunities, so what our kind of apprentices get up to, any roles that we have coming up, please do follow us on social media. We have a 4Skills Instagram account. We have a 4Skills section of the Channel 4 Careers website. We also have some very informative videos on our 4Skills YouTube, which gives some information about how to apply to our early careers opportunities. Also, we're on Twitter and Facebook, so please do follow us at Channel 4 Skills. Thank you.
Workplace adjustments for disabled candidates at Channel 4.
Good afternoon. My name is Giles Barker. I'm a white middle-aged male with short white hair, glasses, and wearing a black t-shirt. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm the workplace disability lead here at Channel 4. So I'm going to describe, next slide, please. I'm going to describe 4 areas where we can provide primary support for you around workplace adjustments, and then another 4 areas where we can help provide secondary support to you or additional support. So the first area of support is around holistic assessment. So when you join the organization, you typically speak to your manager or work with me to look at the barriers you face and the potential adjustments you need. We will also review any kind of existing adjustments you've worked for you in the past. And most important point is you don't need a diagnosis to obtain adjustments. You just need to identify, we need to work with you to identify the barriers that you face. If necessary, we can also organize a formal external assessment with our specialist workplace adjustments provider, and you get a formal report from them. And again, we work with your manager and yourself to then look at the recommendations of that report. We also work with access to work, and especially where additional funding is required around human support, so for example, a British Sign Language interpreter, transport provision, or specialist equipment such as a Braille reader. We may recommend you apply for access to work funding, or if you've got funding in place, then we will build upon this existing agreement. And then all adjustments, including those not relating to disability, for example, relating to faith or religion, caring responsibilities, etc., can be captured in an inclusion passport. This is a document that you own, and we advise people who do have inclusion passports to regularly review them to make sure the adjustments within them are still fit for purpose. So they're the 4 areas around primary support. So holistic assessment, workplace adjustment assessment, access to work, and inclusion passport. So the additional or secondary support. Chloe, who's coming up next, will talk around 4 Purple, but we also have the 4 Mind network, which provides a safe space for staff to talk about mental health and well-being. We're also members of Purple Space, which is a network of disability networks and allows staff to network with hundreds of other networks and staff around the people networks relating to disability. We're also members of the Business Disability Forum, and they provide us with independent advice, and managers can also use their disability advice line. As Jamie said right at the beginning, we also have an internal group called TAG, which is the adjustments group, which is a group of individuals from across the business, HR, facilities, IT, equity and inclusion, recruitment, learning and development, 4 Purple. All of us work together to provide workplace adjustments and also look at accessibility of the digital and the physical environments.
4 Purple, the internal employee group at Channel 4.
Hello everyone, I'm Chloe O'Toole. My pronouns are she, her. I'm 27 years old, a white woman with ginger hair, blue eyes, and a cream blouse and a headset on. I work in AV primarily at Channel 4, but more importantly and more excitingly, I'm one of the co-chairs of 4 Purple, alongside my colleague Jamie Ward, who spoke a little bit earlier. And 4 Purple is our employee network, disability employee network group here at Channel 4. A little bit about me is that I joined Channel 4 over 7 years ago now, actually as an apprentice. I was one of the first apprentices, or the first apprentice that they'd had in the Manchester office. One of the first things I did when I joined Channel 4 actually was seek support and seek a community for to help with my disability. So I have sensory neural hearing loss, and recently I got diagnosed with ADHD. And I found 4 Purple, and it is just the most fabulous community, and I joined straight away. And recently, back in September, no, a year ago actually, I took over as a co-chair of 4 Purple. So 4 Purple is an internal community built by employees for employees. It's not just for people with disabilities, it's for allies as well. It's for people who have experience with disabilities, like family members or friends who want to learn more. Our goal is to encourage a wider conversation about disability at Channel 4 by raising awareness and empowering everyone to feel more confident about our disability. And I love this community. It's fabulous. We meet every couple of weeks. We discuss topics, we raise issues or concerns. Sometimes we just have a chat. It's a real open and safe space. And we're just really keen on making positive changes to the company and to ourselves as well. So on this slide, there are images of events that we've been able to go to as a group. So the first image is Abby Bainbridge speaking to Adam Hill. Abby's going to be speaking in a moment. Adam Hill is a comedian and also the host of Last Leg. The second image is 3 of our members at Power Pride in London. And the next image is from the Variety Disability Sports Awards. We got an opportunity to go up there. That was hosted by Adam Hills and Vicky Coslin, with entertainment from Rosie Jones as well. And we actually managed to get a 4 Purple page in their pamphlet that they were giving out that day, so we were quite proud of that. And the next image is Giles, who's just been speaking, and that was at Positively Purple event at the London Eye that was hosted by Purple Space, and Giles was wearing loads of jazzy purple, looking fabulous, and also good around and kind of hosting the event. And I gathering everyone in. So 4Purple got an opportunity to go to that. There's an image from the World Wheelchair Rugby Championships that we had the opportunity to go to in Cardiff. That was a wonderful event. And then there's another image also there that was taken for a couple of members on the London Eye. So we get loads of opportunities. We seek opportunities, we encourage opportunities. We don't just get to go to, physical events or virtual events. We also get opportunities to do development programs or attend seminars. So we've had seminars from Amanda Kirby, who did one on ADHD. We've also had BSL lessons. We've even had actually another event that we had was a comedy night. We had that down at our London office with Simon Minty from Gogglebox, and that was for International Day of Persons with Disability. So it's really wonderful. It's an open space. You can share your thoughts, share your ideas. We have a calendar with loads of significant days on throughout the year, relevant days to 4Purple. We encourage our members to get involved, even to host or run the days, or if they need help with any kind of projects that they're doing within the role or relevant to 4Purple, then obviously we will help. So yeah, that's a bit about 4Purple. We also make changes to the office, little things like I say little, they may seem like little things, but they actually impact people an awful lot and change a lot of people's lives for the better. For example, we have like sensory boxes in each of the offices that have lots of sensory items in, and you'll be surprised how many people use them. So little things like that, making sure that our offices are accessible. Yeah, so that's a little bit about 4Purple. So there is a community here. If you were to join Channel 4, where you can talk openly about your disability, talk about your day, talk about things that you want to happen.
Abigail's story. My experience at Channel 4.
Hi, I'm Abigail. I'm 21. I'm white. Currently, my hair is ginger. I'm wearing glasses and my jumper is green. So I'm the Sports Commission apprentice here at Channel 4. Don't know if you can hear through my accent, but I'm actually Scottish. So for the apprenticeship, I have moved. But I originally applied for this apprenticeship because I was made to drop out of uni in December of 22 and sort of didn't know what I wanted to do. Like I went to uni for forensic science, so this is completely different, but didn't know what I wanted to do. Then seen through social media that Channel 4 had apprenticeships coming out, thought I'd look and decided to apply for the Sports Commissioning role because Channel 4 is safe. Like I've seen loads of disabled presenters on the telly and I was like, do you know what, let's just apply. So I applied. I did my first stage application through a YouTube video and sent a link that way because it was easier for me than to sort of write down my answers and send it on. So I sent that video away and then heard back and had to do the pre-recorded answers video on the higher view. That was quite difficult, kind of struggled with that, but managed to do it, sent it off, everything was good, and then got an email to basically say, look, we're inviting you to second stage. This was in person down here in the Leeds office. I am a wheelchair user, so I was like, okay, well, I need wheelchair accessible room, and 4Skills, Lowry and Yasmin were really nice and they were like, okay, well, since you're so far away, let's book you a hotel room. So they booked me a hotel room. Again, they asked, look, do you need any accommodations? For me personally, I need a wheelchair accessible room and the bathroom needs to be accessible and whatever else. So that was fine, they sorted that all out. And the hotel room was pretty close to the office, so I didn't have to worry about that either. Got into the office, everyone was lovely, the office is very accessible. My manager now came in, sort of greeted me and led me to the interview room. There wasn't a chair there for me, so I could just roll in, which was great, didn't have to worry about moving chairs. The interview process itself was great. I was given a sort of like task maybe like a week before my actual in-person interview, and was told that basically here's your task, sort of send on to us before your interview, and we'll put it up before, you don't have to worry about any like that. So I did my task, sent it on. They then asked me questions about myself. I answered them, left. It was only maybe about 45 minutes in total. Then got a phone call maybe few weeks after to basically say I got it, and from that point on I then had help in every single stage of, from me leaving my house in Glasgow to my new flat here in Leeds to then coming into the office for my very first day. I had support in every single stage. They were emailing me, they were asking if I needed anything at all. There was relocation policies in place. Coming into the office, especially in Leeds, we have passes that we use to get into the office, and you use that to open the doors, so I don't have to worry about doors. Again, there's no chair where I sit at my desk and I can just roll up in my wheelchair. So everything's been great. Floor Purple's been there. Means I can talk to anyone about my disability, and they're there if I need any help with anything. Managed to get the bins changed, so the bins in this office are pedal bins currently, but I've managed to speak to some people and we're getting sort of like wave bins, so that's been changed, and they're very helpful that way. If you sort of go to anyone in the office and be like, can you help me with X, Y and Z, they will very much help you with that. But yeah, all in all, my experience at Channel 4 has been very positive so far.
How we retain disabled talent at Channel 4.
I think one thing that we do hopefully take a lot of pride in is really making sure that we check in with all our employees, so for example, we would have mid-year reviews, we have end-of-year reviews, so what I'm saying with the performance reviews, we're able to sort of check in with people just to sort of see how they're doing, whether they're feeling, comfortable in the workplace and how their performance is getting on. So that's more how we do it in terms of trying to retain people. We do keep in touch a lot with our employees and kind of go from there.
Support and workplace adjustments at Channel 4.
So we do try to do as much support as we can. I mean, so in terms of that, we do have, we'll provide as many adjustments as we can throughout our interviewing recruitment process. And then we have our occupational health as well, which I'll let Giles talk to you a little bit more about that. So we do, and through occupational health, what we will do is try and get as much, hear a little bit more about what adjustments, workplace adjustments that you need, and really put that into place. And that's everything from, technology to sort of your surrounding or your office space to, so pretty much your accessibility around the building as well. And we do have, for example, a lot of our employees, our disabled employees, have access to work as well. So I've got an apprentice, he's autistic, and he has a work coach that comes in once a week into the office, sits with the apprentice and myself, and really start to provide him with that support. So we do try and provide as much support as possible.
Support and workplace adjustments at Channel 4.
Yeah, just to kind of reiterate exactly what Davina just said, as in we can provide specialist workplace adjustment assessment with our external provider. We can seek or help people seek access to work support. We can provide holistic assessments internally as well. And some of that support can be job coach, it can be human assistance, it could be interpreter, it could be, for example, coping strategies. We have external coaching company that provides coping strategies training as well. So depending on what barriers that the individual experiences, we can look at see what adjustments are, and we can go and get the relevant assessments and then put those adjustments in place.
Work experience opportunities at Channel 4.
I think pre-pandemic, we did run weekly work experience placements in the office, but now with hybrid working and post-COVID, we saw kind of an opportunity to reintroduce how we provided more work experience to people than ever before, regardless of background, location, and like I said, whether you're in employment, whether you're in education, the virtual work experience program that we offer means that it caters to all. So we had 2,000 completers last year, which we're really proud of. So I would really encourage you to take a look at that program. I put the link in the chat box because not only does it give you an insight into one area of Channel 4, it gives you an insight into 7. And like I said, it equates to around 2.5 days of work experience. And if you do apply for a Channel 4 job, please do flag to us that you've undertaken that work experience, because that does mean a lot to us, and yeah, will go a long way. So thank you.
Can I receive interview questions in advance?
So with our application forms, the actual questions are outlined on the job description. So if it's support at that stage, the questions are already there for you to kind of help people apply or look up together. And then at the next stage of the process, we obviously can take in requests for reasonable adjustments. So in the past, we have sent people questions in advance. That's sometimes sort of an hour in advance. There's definitely something we can discuss as well at the interview stage. So happy, as I mentioned earlier, for you to get in touch with us, and we can discuss sort of individual needs at that point that we have in the past sent questions in advance.
Internal opportunities for disabled employees at Channel 4.
So we have, just so we've got sort of 2 things or 2 initiatives that we have. So any kind of brand new roles that come into the channel, we actually promote them internally first, and that's any role across the whole business will be advertised internally to our employees, so they've got an opportunity to investigate a little bit more about the opportunity and obviously grow or expand their experience. And then we've also got an initiative that we've recently launched. It's called Come Learn With Me. So just a little bit of a spin-off of Come Dine With Me, but it is Come Learn With Me. And with that, it is basically, it's actually it's our recruitment team and our learning and development team. And it's basically where we offer shadowing opportunities in different departments. So we've recently done one for our announcer team, our continuity team. They're the team that who basically introduce our programs in between the ad breaks. And we've got them all across, and you can spend a couple of days shadowing, working on a project to better understand what they're doing.
On-the-job training for disabled talent at Channel 4.
Because I suppose for us in early careers, we don't expect people to have lots of experience and understanding of the industry already. We're really sort of hands-on support is really important to us. So we'd be ensuring that you're sort of guided through that sort of your job role, what your instructions are, how you need to do tasks. And also we're really open to conversations about what works best for you. So actually, if you came to us and said, my learning style is this way, could this be adapted? We're really happy to have those conversations. On the production training scheme, for example, which is more, I suppose you mentioned being a runner, so just thinking about that side of things, you're working with an experienced production company and also an organisation called Think Bigger deliver the scheme with the production companies and us at Channel 4, and they're very, very experienced in this field as well. So they're sort of experts in providing that support and guidance at those beginning stages of your role. So I think we definitely try and be as supportive as we can be, and it's something that's really important to us. So definitely, if you're getting an opportunity with us, just ask us lots of questions and let us know sort of what we can do to make it a better sort of process at early stages for you.